departure boutique 358, 2200, climbing 3000, 010 heading.
Boutique 358, Portland departure, from where your radar contact, maintain 15,000.
Maintain 15,000, boutique 358.
Turn right heading 040, join J16, resume navigation.
040, join J16, resume mode, boutique 358.
Number 16 is here, descend to maintain 4,000.
4,000, 16 is here.
Number 16 is here, you'll be probably in the clear VNC conditions in about another 10 miles. Let me know when you're in VNC.
We'll do it, thanks, 16 is here.
Present 2338, contact approach 124.35, 2435.
2435, good day.
Today.
Okay, 2338 should be out of 85 to 5.
Risner 2338, Portland approach, good morning. Descend to maintain 4,000.
Down to 4,000 over 2338.
Number 6 Tango Sierra, descend to maintain 3,100.
3,100, 6 Tango Sierra, and we're still intermittent IMC.
Final approach to Peak 358. Can we level off the 11,000?
Peak 358, maintain 1,000.
1,000, thank you, sir. Peak 358.
For sure. Verify that's Delta. Roger, give reports weather and clear Dozier. Medevac 126 Tango Sierra. Would you like just to get the RNAV 17?
Yeah, I'd like to go ahead and put that on request. 6 Tango Sierra.
6 Tango Sierra. Thank you. You're 4 miles from Oki, cross Moki at 3,100. Cleared RNAV runway 17 approach to Aurora State.
All right, 4 miles from Moki, cross Moki at 3,100, cleared RNAV 17 into Aurora. 6 Tango Sierra.
No 515, that's appropriate. Go ahead. With 5, that's appropriate. Roger, you can expect it. Peak 358, contact Seattle Center 119.65. Have a nice flight.
1965, good day. Peak 358.
Medevac 6 Tango Sierra, Visit terminated. Contact Aurora State Tower today.
40 Tower today, 6 Tango Sierra.
010 is 2338.
Control aircraft information Tango is current at Stroudel Airport.
Aurora Tower, 6 Tango Sierra, establishing RNAV 17.
Still on approach.
Connected to PilotEdge.
Eisner 2338, Portland Airport, 2 o'clock and 11 miles.
All right, 2338, looks like the bases are about 2,600.
Eisner 2338, you're 6 miles from Powell, turn right heading 070, maintain 3000, tell staff localize for clear dilatation and 10 right approach.
70, 3000 established, clear dilatation, 10 right approach, heading 2338.
Eisner 2338, contact Portland Tower on 123.77. Have a good day.
Good day, 2338.
Mr. Nick. Nick Greels. How you doing there, bud? Originally, I wasn't going to stream today, but I was like, you know what? Because um, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, what I wanted to fly, and then the wife left to go to work for a little while, so it's like, whatever. I'll might as well go ahead and stream. So I'm going to do usually this is a pretty scenic flight. It's a fun flight because it's a neat approach into North Bend with this plane. So do a little quick fun flight down the coast. Glad you're doing good. All right, let's get our walk around start. Actually, we need to figure out the fuel, so let's come over here. Get our fuel calculations for the King Air. So what I do is I add 100 gallons in reserves automatically, and then I figure out the actual flight fuel. So I add these together. 429, 145, 360, and 200. So I'm using the trip fuel, the alternate fuel, which will bring us back to Portland, and continuous and taxi. So those are the main ones I worry about, and then I add those together and then divide by 6.5. That comes out to 174 gallons. So maybe a total of 274 with a 174 in the main tanks. So that's 87 gallons. It's 87 gallons per tank. So 174 times 430. $750 basically at Atlantic, and this is real world pricing for this trip if you were to use real money. Although xCloud has been acting up on me lately, audio hasn't been working. I'm not sure if that would be xPilot or possibly the AFM, the new voice code. They've been having the xPilot is just a client to connect you to the voice server. So I've been reading that the voice server is having issues. So it might not be the client. It's probably just the entire code. Plus they're changing things for the servers on the client to like basically the servers that the old servers they were using is just for position reporting for ATC purposes, so they know where you are like every 5 seconds, and that doesn't take any bandwidth really. So now they say it doesn't really matter which server you connect to, it's all going to go to the same voice server. So I'm not sure what that is. I know with my xPilot client, the latest version has been giving people problems. So I haven't updated my xPilot. I just been until it quits working, because of an update or Windows or whatever. The way I look at it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I don't update that client anymore. I've got it to where, it works okay. So I just leave it alone because a lot of times with these sims, as soon as you update something that's going to break. So once you know you have a pretty good build of something, I wouldn't mess with it. Like I had a reminder to update my GTN 750. The Reality XP GTN is the payware add-on, and I haven't updated it because I've read that the update breaks the GTN in some airplanes. So to me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not updating things just because there's an update available. I'm that way with X-Plane. I'm that way with all my add-ons. And if I do update, I make a copy of what I have so I can always roll back. That's the biggest pain in the butt. I mean, I fixed it once, but next flight, same thing. I can't receive audio. You have to make sure that in the plane that the microphone is unmuted. So that might be something to think about, unmuting the microphone. If they might be able to hear you if you have your mic hot, but if you don't have it unmuted, like with some airliners, you have to make sure you do that. But hopefully you get that ironed out, because I know that's a pain. All right, we're going with 87 per wing. I had the radios on and I actually went into the sound settings and changed the output, and it worked for that one flight. Yeah, you might want to check your sound settings every time. I know with, do you fly in VR when you're doing this by any chance? Because I know VR will create a new output speaker, and that messes up a lot of times. So it messes up the sounds in VR, but if you're not flying VR, then it's something different. Make sure that your Windows audio drivers are up to date too. Um, 174. No, just regular XP. I have to try that. Yeah, I would update your. Just make sure your drivers are all up to date. Like if you use the. I have a set of headphones and I've disabled my what is it, Realtek audio driver or something. So that way it doesn't mistakenly go to a different audio driver. Let's see if I can. Let me see, 174. Let's see. So let me jump over here real quick. So you'll notice here, I am by no means a computer IT guy. I have no specialized training. I'm just learned everything I know through simming and video games. But this seems to help me with X-Plane. I disabled the Realtek audio driver. This is a regular Windows driver that's updated usually, but you can always go your sound under Device Manager, and you can right click and scan for our update driver. You can try that. What I have is this. I have a special headset that has its own driver through a USB. So I disable the Realtek audio driver. That way I know it's going to work off of that one. And then, so that's Device Manager. And then for Control Panel, Sound, you'll notice I have a speaker here that I have disabled. So my headset will be primary. When I hook up my VR, this will activate, and sometimes it will move my default headset to the speaker. So it's like cat and mouse games with this sim stuff in Windows settings and sound settings. It's just a nightmare. I mean, I wish things would just work the way they're supposed to, but that's just how computers are. So that's how I do it, and I don't know, maybe that will help you. What works for me doesn't necessarily mean it will work for everybody. And that's just from testing. But the VR makes an extra speaker, and then when I connect to PilotEdge, it disables my headset. And so it's like you can't hear anything. And then when I fly the TBM in VR, you guys can't hear any of the TBM sounds, but you can hear the ATC. So that's another reason I don't stream VR that much. Whoops, already checked that. Because VR is, it's a lot tougher for me. It's more challenging to fly in VR, and it's hot, and it causes sound issues. Fiverr, good afternoon, my friend. Oh, okay. I must have changed it to the default output device. Yeah, just go into your control panel sounds and make sure that it is default. And keep in mind when you do VR, if you do VR, that will change it on you. Sometimes plugins, like the PilotEdge plugin with VR, will just change your default output automatically to the VR sub speaker. So it's really weird. And Fiverr, I got a picture of my my SIG. I'll show you. And DG Burger King Whopper. You like your Whoppers, huh? That's awesome. What mod are you using for the graphics? Well, it's not a mod. It's Payware Scenery. It's X-Plane. And this is just a Payware airplane. So, and then I have Payware graphics for my weather. And like I said, this airport is all custom airport, ortho scenery. I have an AI airplanes roaming around. Let me bring up this. So that's the SIG, and it's a 229. I couldn't remember what it was, but that's the, oh, I put my watch next to it so you could get an idea of how big it is. So I don't know if that's full size, the 229, but that's what I've been using. Oh, nice, 229, yeah, yep. Is this Flight Sim X? No, this is X-Plane. I've got Microsoft Flight Simulator X as a topic in the stream description because more people search under Microsoft Flight Simulator X for people streaming than they do X-Plane. So 90% of the streamers that fly Flight Sim, regardless of what sim they're using, will have a category of Microsoft Flight Simulator X. And that will probably change to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 whenever that gets released. SIGs are great. Yeah, I really liked it. Or like it. I haven't shot it in, jeez, years. I probably need to. And the other thing, Burger King, I use an online service. So we'll be talking to, it's a payware ATC service. So we'll be using real world procedures during this flight, talking to air traffic control like real people that are paid controllers, that are highly trained controllers, Burger King. So what you're going to see in this stream is how you would fly an airplane in the real world, talking to air traffic control and getting ground clearance and taxi clearance and departure and all that stuff. So that's the main part of my stream is I always fly online and try to do things according to the real world procedures. How do you find this? You can just search X-Plane on Google, Laminar Research, and you can download the sim from there. And just keep in mind that the sim won't look like this when you first buy it. A version copy of X-Plane is just that. It's like an operating sim an operating system for all your add-ons and your weather programs. It's a moneymaker for it's an investment. So if you're just getting into flight sims, I would look at Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and wait for that to be released because that's going to be a superior sim when it comes to just getting into it feet wet. You know what I mean? But if you want a very, very good flight model and very good add-ons and a whole lot of options, then X-Plane is the better sim right now. What happens if you don't ask for clearance when you land? Well, if you want to abide by the rules and fly online, then you could, like with this network, if you don't do things properly or if you try to goof off, and if they say, if you land without clearance, then they will scold you. They will correct you if it's an accident. If you do it on purpose, they'll ban you. Even if this is something you pay for, but it's not a game, like it's a sim. So people that fly on this network are expected to have a pretty good knowledge of or understanding of how the airspace works and stuff like that. So it's pretty involved. There's a lot to it. There's training that you can get. The freeware version is VATSIM. That's where most of us start as a freeware network, and then you graduate from there, and you can go to PilotEdge, which is a subscription-based network, which is what I fly on. And I can give you a link if you're interested in learning this stuff in a little bit, if you stick around, and I'll give you a link to where I got my initial training. And the training is very good. There's a lot of places out here to get training. So yeah, give me a few minutes to get this thing loaded up and get my clearance, and I'll find some links for you. So you can get, and I'll show you what the other free network looks like too. So remind me and I'll come back to that for sure. All right, let's undo these control locks. We'll set the e-brake. Check our volts. We got 28 for external. Should have 22 on the battery. Good there. We'll turn on the battery. Connect the gen tie. External power is blinking, so we'll connect that. clear out the cautions, do a bus sense test, look for Gentai lights down here. So you got 3 Gentai, reset. Check the inverters, make sure those lights go off, which they do. Fiverr's got 5,600 points, nice. Alright, so let's turn on our nav light, tail floodlight. Turn this on, cabin lights, seat belts. I hear an airplane taking off. Alright, now we need to check our fuel. The fuel looks good. We got our auxiliary fuel. Fuel pumps on to check this emergency fuel cutoff. So that worked. And we can turn them back off. Check our warning. O2 is full. Alright, we'll arm the O2 and we'll give the mask a test. Fiverr, how did the flight go last night? I had to stop watching because it was starting to get busy at Washington. Yeah, we had some issues with the scenery because with the shared cockpit, everything has to match. And he had like volume 1, the original New York City airports by Dewesky Design. And then he ended up buying the volume 2, which is the one I had because we thought the two versions would still work, but they didn't. So he ended up spending like 25 bucks, and then I guess the installer had both versions in it. So it was like a total cluster. So we never actually got to do the entire flight that I wanted to do, but we did get it to work finally after like an hour and 15 minutes, I think. And then we just did like a quick pattern. So we started it up, we took off, we flew over the city of New York. Everything was working beautifully. We did a downwind, a base, and then he landed. And then I was done. I was at my 2.5 hour max that I can tolerate. So then I ended the stream at that time. So if you get a chance, you can check it out. But the next time that we do a shared cockpit, everything should be good to go, and it will be much better. But yeah, I never even connected to VATSIM last night. We were just troubleshooting for 75% of it, but that stuff happens with the complicated add-ons like that because every single thing has to match. So it's just one of those things. Like once you get the second sim set up, that's how we do it with a second copy of X-Plane. Once it's set up, then you leave it alone and you'll be fine. But if you start adding and taking away from that build, I think he had, like the last time, we spent 2 hours troubleshooting because he had updated the plane to a beta and the X-Plane to a beta, and that messed up the shared cockpit. So it's just I don't like doing shared cockpit that often, just because it's like you spend half the time troubleshooting than flying. All right, battery bus is in the up normal position, engine anti-ice on. Let's load up. We'll go 3/4 full. So our passengers are loaded in here. Oh, that sucks. At least it would be good for next time. Yeah, that's what Will and I were saying. We're good to go for next time. He's like, I'm not touching this build. So yeah, we'll be good for next time. We'll be able to just load in, sign into the network, and go through our checks. But that's the fun part of the shared cockpit is I get to act as the first officer. All right, so remove these steps so we don't blow them away on engine start. We'll do the beacon light on. All right, prop area is clear. So we're going to start engine 1. 16 N2, we can introduce fuel. So right here, there's 15, 16. Totally didn't do that part. That's okay. ITT, oil pressure, ignition off, conditioner lever full. Shut that window. Disconnect external power. No. Yeah. External power. Remove it from the plane. Okay. Reset the gen for engine 1. So now we got 28. External power is gone. So left gen. So we got power to start engine 2 now. So we'll kick on the starter on engine 2. 16 and 2 will introduce fuel. I should have had the throttle quadrant set before I even started, but it's right. It didn't break anything. Low idle. Check for hot start, hung start. So we got rotation in the turbine, so we're good there. ITT. Oil pressure's in the green. Turbine over 50, you can turn the starter off. And we'll reset Gen 2, Gen 1. Leave them on low idle. Prop RPM 1050 or above. Should have 28 on left, right, so we'll leave it on triple fed. And we need to file the flight plan. So come back over here. So we got altimeter of 2973. They're taking off on east, and that was with Quebec. So we'll plan for 10 left. These guys don't have an ATIS. Okay. So we're going to file IFR. Slant Golf. We're going to fly at 220 because I think we're going west. Yeah, it's west. So we're at 220. We'll come back if we need to. We're going to file a Victor airway, even though we're going to be above 180, because PilotEdge doesn't care, but you don't normally file IFR with a Victor airway above flight level 180, because these are mainly for VORs, but PilotEdge doesn't care, so I'm just going to do that. It just tells them the waypoints we're going to use. So we'll file that. So essentially that airway It's right there. That's the airway. So the MEA for this airway, that's the main thing I was looking at, is 4,000. So we'll come up here. We are at here. It's on file. So Burger King, I don't know if you're still there, buddy, but this is the network. So these are all people simming on their computers like we are. So these are all real people flying on this PilotEdge network. Like I said, professional air traffic control. So I'll show you the other network in a little bit. Yeah, it's crazy. All right. So you'll hear the ATC guy here in a moment. We just had to file the IFR plan first. Now we'll do a bus sense test on the engine generators. So we got gen tie lights, bus light, reset. Oh, sorry, Fiber, I didn't see that last sentence. We're making a push for the Iron Mike Award at Dulles. Oh, that'd be nice. So we will be staffing Dulles Tower the entire week, Sunday through Sunday, starting tonight. Oh, awesome. So does that mean is it just, you only have to do the tower, or does it have to be a center on? Will you fly to Vegas? Not this trip, but I do. I've flown to Vegas plenty. I usually use my airliners to fly in and out of Vegas. All right, let's get the pressurization set up. So above 10 Celsius, we leave the bleed air in a down low position. Each bleed must be 11 psi, so we'll check the left one. Check the right, that's 11. We'll turn them both on. Environment to auto. Gyro suction's in the green, pneumatic pressure's in the green. The temperature will be getting to about 70 degrees. And then we got our bus lights on, so we'll turn the inverters on. Bus lights are now off. We can turn on our EFIS, turn on avionics, and we'll turn on our radios. Get the GTN fired up. Test the autopilot real quick, and we'll do a light test. Put it on heading, trim, rudder boost, clear out that caution. We'll trim for takeoff, middle of the green on the trim wheel. We'll do flaps 1 for takeoff. And Fiverr says, we are trying to win the award for the tower only, so tower will be up 24/7. Oh, I see. It's up to the other controllers whether or not they want to staff center, approach, etc. That makes sense. Be a lot easier to staff a lower level position than center that has to deal with every single airport in that area. So yeah, that'd be a lot easier to do a 24/7 on. But that's still a lot, because you're talking even at like 3 o'clock in the morning. All right, we turn on the coffee maker and furnace. Check our E-lights. Slave both the gyros. Grab ATIS 128.35. Turn on our our speakers.
Portland International Airport, ATIS Information, Quebec. 1753 Zulu. Wind 010 at 3. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 2,500. Ceiling 6,500 broken. 25,000 broken. Temperature 16. Dew point 9er. Altimeter 2973. Arriving and departing runways 10 left, 10 right. Visual approaches in use. Simultaneous approaches to parallel runways in use. VFR departures contact clearance delivery. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Notice to airmen. ILS runway 10 approach out of service. Runway 321 closed. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instruction. Advise on initial contact. You have information Quebec.
Alright, current with information
Portland
Quebec.
International Airport.
So I like to monitor guard on COM 2, which is 121.5. We'll keep ATIS on the standby. And Viper says exactly, yeah, we have a schedule set up and everything. I think I have a total of 23 hours scheduled personally for the week. Wow, that's a lot of hours. I'm sure it'd be fun though. You probably get a lot more. You gonna advertise that on the Washington website? I guess so. All right, clearance is 120.12 and ground control is 0.9er. So we get ground control on standby, and then you don't want to key up right away. You want to wait to make sure that you're not stepping on someone talking. So I'm monitoring clearance and delivery while we get the altimeter set up. And the altimeter is 2973 from ATIS. Alright, so 2973. And then you double check that with the altitude, which is MSL 17, so that's right on the money, right on the money. We are facing 200, so you look at that with the compass, so that matches. So now we are ready to call in our clearance. Afternoon Portland clearance, King Air 1399 out Atlantic with Quebec IFR northbound.
Number 1399 clear to the northbound airport, Portland 1 departure. Then as filed, maintain 6000. Departure frequency 124.35, squawk 2253.
Clear to North Bend via Portland 1 departure. As filed, climb maintain 6000, departure 124.35, squawk 2253, 1399.
1399, read back correct.
Alright. So we got our flight plan, so I'm pretty sure I've got this saved. So we can go to menu, catalog, Portland to BFI, we have Portland to OTA. So activate. That's Victor 287, I think that's right, to OTH. And then the airport, and I'll worry about an approach when we get a little closer. Flight plan is loaded, get rid of that. We'll switch to ground control before I forget. Once you're done with clearance, you don't need that anymore. Tower is 18.7 for the runway that we're probably going to use. And you can get all these frequencies from the charts. PilotEdge uses real-world frequencies. VetSim does too, but they don't always staff all the frequencies. So, but PilotEdge always uses whatever's published. So, going ground, 0.9er, and we're going to be using 10 left, so 18.7 on standby, and then we'll punch in our departure frequency at Holden Short. So we are cleared to 6,000 feet. Heading is armed. Initial heading would be on the Portland 1, so it should be runway heading, and that would be 103. So bug up the runway there. We'll do a auto ignition test.
This frequency, red service terminated, fixed stage report.
Those 4 lights will disappear when we add power. There they go. Turn windshield ice on to normal. Do a prop de-ice test. So right now we have 0 amps. Turn on the auto. Now it's in the green, so that's working properly. For a surface de-ice test, you want to move your conditioner levers to full forward to give you max power for this. So you hold down the manual, you'll see the wing de-ice light up and then the tail. And then you can bring the conditioner levers back to low idle. Do a ground idle test. So we'll hold that, bring up our prop RPM to 1500. And then I'll let go, and without moving the throttle, it will go back to idle on its own. So that's a good test. That's one thing about these models. I like having models that have system depth. And so this plane costs $50-something, but it models every single switch. So it's pretty cool. Now we'll do an auto feather test. Same thing, 1500 RPM. We're going to look for AFX lights. There's the AFX. That just shows that the auto feather is armed.
Over 3 Sierra Lima contact, no close center 132.2.
So we're going to do a feather on the left prop. Let that work. And we'll feather the right one. Go ahead and arm the auto feather. Let's do a cabin pressure check. So the idea is to get about 800 feet per minute descent. So we'll set this for 500 less than our current altitude. Press the test. It's about 800 to 1,000, so that's good. And I filed flight level 220, so we'll bring this up to the inner ring to 1,000 feet above, so 23. And we'll do a cabin climb at about 10 o'clock, will give us 500 feet per minute. Still running off of auxiliary fuel. This plane will use auxiliary first, and then it will go off the main wing tanks. Do an EFIS test. Press that for about 7 seconds. Alright, taxi, Rico, pitot, heat, stall warning. And we'll switch this to FMS. Nav data 3 times for the wind display here. Decision altitude for North Bend's ILS, if I were to use that, is 200. So decision height is here, so we're going to spin that down to 200. Get rid of that. Put the prop in the beta mode. So with this one, you have to do reversers first, toggle reversers, then go into beta, which lifts it up off the block, and then you can go back into the beta range. Going to squawk 2253. Report altitude. There we go. All lights are good. Normal ones are on. All right, Burger King, if you're still there, I will get that link for you. I just wanted to get the plane up and running and ready to roll. Let me find that. Let me know if you're still there, and I'll link this stuff to you. It's what is the name of that? Oh, that's right. Okay. You're there? Okay, cool. All right, let me pull this up and then I'll show you. Vapor Blast, thanks for the follow there, my friend.
126.6.
Glad you have joined us. Burger King, did you follow the channel also? I don't remember if you had. There you go. Thanks for the follow to you as well. The more the merrier. And okay, so VatStar, and where is VatSim?
Seattle 627, Seattle Center, send via the Hawk 7
I'm just
arrival,
getting
Seattle
these
Center,
things
7
loaded so I can show you real quick. So I have these links and I can copy them. All right, so VatSim is the free ATC network, so you don't have guaranteed coverage, right? So this is VatSim, and I'll give you these links. So like right now, the only controllers online are the ZLA and where you see like these little bubbles and stuff. So VatSim is free, and the one I'm on is PilotEdge. So this is not free, but PilotEdge guarantees ATC where VatSim does not guarantee unless there's an event. Now, this is VatSim, so we'll do copy, and this is where you would create a VatSim account to fly on VatSim, and then you're going to want to go here, which is VatStar, and you can here on VatStar they teach you all the P ratings, the pilot ratings that you need that will make you a better pilot. If you don't have any real world experience or any online experience, then I highly recommend this training. So P1 is just VatSim fundamentals, rules, how it works, and then the other courses are more about flight fundamentals. P3 is your VFR, flight planning and flying. P4 is your IFR, which is what I'm doing today, an IFR flight. So these guys will assign instructors to help you, and it is the best training that I have the P1, P2, P4, and I can't remember if I had P3, but this is a great resource for learning. So I think that's all. Wait a minute. VatStar, I gave you VatSim, and let me give you VatTastic. So here's VatTastic. How much is it? No, it's all free. All this stuff I'm showing you right now is free. So this is the free online network. So you can get your training here at VatStar, which I highly recommend. You don't want to piss off these controllers with not knowing anything when you first log in. So I would recommend getting at least your P1 and P2 done before your first flight. That's just me. And then you can also, there's other avenues of training, but Fiverr, who's in the stream right now, he's a VatSim controller in the Washington, D.C. area. So you can also learn how to become controllers, and he could probably tell you where to get that information if you were interested, but it sounds like you're more interested of the pilot side like I am. So those three websites are the main ones that will get you started. It will definitely open up like a sim. brings the sim to a different level. It's like a whole new sim because you're having to fly by these real world rules.
In the ordinance frequency or on the ground 102.2 frequency per.
All right, let's do a wiper check.
Over 72476. Over 72746 clear to the Sarasota Airport as filed, maintain 8000 departure frequency 120.47 squawk 3325. And release to departure clearance 45,020 minutes.
All right.
476 departure frequency 120.47. 476 read back red.
All right, we're on ground. Let's get ATIS again.
Flight following is requested. Notice to airmen.
You always want to make sure you have the
ILS
current
runway
weather.
10 left approach out of service. Runway 321 close. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information Romeo. Portland International Airport.
Yep, now it's
ATIS
different
information
ATIS.
Romeo. 1853 Zulu.
Make sure that
Wind 360
altimeter
at
and
3.
everything is the same.
Visibility 10. Few clouds at 3000. 7000 scattered. Ceiling 5000 broken. Temperature 17. Dew point 9er. Altimeter 2973. Arriving and parting runways 10 left, 10 right. Visual approaches in use. Simultaneous approaches parallel runways in use. VFR departures contact clearance delivery. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Notice to airmen. ILS runway 10 left approach out of service. Runway 321 closed. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information Romeo.
Portland ground, King Air 1399 on Atlantic with Romeo, ready to taxi.
Air 1399 runway 10 left to Tango, taxi via Alpha Tango.
10 left to Tango via Alpha Tango 1399. Alright, so he gave us an intersection, which means we're not going full length. So unless if they tell you, if they don't give you an intersection, then it's always a full length taxi. And we want Alpha, which is, looks like a dog leg up here. Yeah, Alpha Tango.
Dallas 227, connect schedule approach 125.6.
Seattle approach Southwest 227, descending at a 13.8 on the Hawk 7 arrival.
Dallas 227, Seattle approach, expect visual approach 16 left.
We'll expect the visual 16 left Southwest 227.
So we're going to be, sometimes they tell you to go to Echo, but Tango makes more sense. Maybe it's always been Tango. I don't know. But anyway, this is, that's just like a threshold area, so that's the intersection we have to hold short at. Alright, our controls, we got airlines working, both sides. Control is free and clear.
X-Ray Whiskey Foxtrot, Quivy, John Wayne Airport asphalt, maintain flight level 230. Expect flight level 38010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 125.57, squawk 4075. And release for departure clearance 1 if not up in 20.
Trim is set, flaps are set.
X-Ray Whiskey Foxtrot, read back correct.
I think it's trying to rain on me.
Oscar 270, connect scale approach 125.6.
Alright, this is Tango.
Seattle Alaska 270 is 16,000 descending on Hawk 7 with Tango.
Oscar 270, scale approach, expect visual approach 16 left.
Alaska 270.
Set this e-brake. Alright, auto ignition. Oh, that's on. Engine anti-ice off. Landing lights. Strobes. Winds are 010 at 3, so that will work. Take the props out of beta. Prop sync on. Switch to tower, and departure is 124.35. And since Traffic Global always takes off the wrong way here, I'll just get rid of those models. Portland Tower, King Air 1399, home short 10 left to Tango.
1399, Portland Tower 10 left to Tango, clear for takeoff, flight burn landing.
10 left at Tango, runway heading, I'm sorry, 10 left, clear for takeoff, 1399. Alright, we are heading to North Bend, which is south of Portland. It's not too far, but it's right on the water and it's got a really nice approach to it. So it's not like a really long flight, maybe a 25-minute, 30-minute flight, if that. Alright, conditioner lever is full for the takeoff power. Engines 50%. Engines are stable, props RPM's full. Increase the torque to about 90.
60 knots.
For a long runway, about 90 is safe.
V1. Rotate. Props full. Positive rate.
Gear coming out. Flaps out.
Attitudes check. Gear indicates up. Flaps indicates up.
November 399, connect departure.
Over to departure 1399, see ya. Let me go to climb. Switch to Portland departure.
Sky 756, IFR condition received class.
Gears up, flaps are up, verified. Portland departure, King Air 1399, 1,900 for 6,000.
Number 1399, Portland departure, ready to contact. Proceed direct Newburgh, calling maintain 15,000.
Proceed direct Newburgh, climb maintain 15,000, 1399er. Alright, 15,000, and we're gonna go right turn to Newburgh. So Newburgh is this first one. So we're going to activate that. Arm nav. Now we'll continue the right turn toward the Newburgh. VOR. What's in North Bend? That's a good question. I don't know what's there. For me, I like the approach. It's here. I'll bring it up. I'll show you what I like about it. It's like visually aesthetic. It's aesthetically pleasing to land there. And it's a free scenery that I have for it. So let's bring up North Bend, which is OTH. The top of my overlay, you'll see it says OTH, KOTH. That's the airport identifier. And I have it as like an overlay on the stream at the top, so you can always look up the airport that way. Plus, I put in my stream description the airports that I'm going in between. So this is the airport.
72476. Denver.
So you'll see the airport is surrounded by water, and it looks really good with the ortho scenery. So usually, and today's probably no exception, we'll land on 5. So it'll be coming out over the water. For this 5. So I'm probably going to do it from Emire. So I'm going to do a procedure turn from Emire. So we're going to go to North Bend, then to Emire, and then this procedure turn inbound back to 5. So see, this is like right on the coast. So that's why I chose this airport, because it's fun to fly in, crossing over this little waterway. And this is a towered airport on PilotEdge, so we'll have tower giving us clearance to land.
Delta 2018, Oakland Center, roger. Delta 3289, connect to Oakland Center 132.95.
How do I learn the lingo talk for all the flight simulators? Well, it's not a flight simulator lingo, it's ATC lingo. It's phraseology, I think would be the appropriate word. On the reason for the specific phraseology when it comes to air traffic control is that they don't want you to say a whole bunch of extra stuff. They only want the information critical for the phase of flight that you're in. So there's a way to talk to ATC that makes total sense once you understand it. And you're just giving out the information that the controllers need to provide the radar services and separation of aircraft. So where you would learn it is on that just flying and listening to streamers, and then get good with, say, a certain city pair, like an easy flight between 2 airports, and that VATSTAR website will teach you a lot about the phraseology. All right, we're at 10,000. We'll turn off our landing lights. Taxi Enrico. We'll turn off the auto ignition and auto feather, although you probably could leave the auto feather on, but yeah, they'll teach you all that stuff, and it's just a way that you talk to ATC. Like, he'll tell me to go to probably Seattle Center next, and when I do, you always sign in with like your current altitude and then your assigned altitude. So we're assigned 15,000, And you don't say 15,000, you say 15,000. And then when you get to the 18,000 mark, which is the transition altitude for the United States, then it turns into flight levels. So then you would say flight level 180 or 183 or 184. So it's definitely a learning curve, but once you get used to it, you can fly anywhere in the world, and it's pretty much the same everywhere.
38, I'll consider descent via the Slammer 3 arrival, south transition, capital altimeter 2983.
All right, we don't have to worry about icing because there's not enough clouds. It's 30 degrees. Keep adding in torque as we climb. Breaker 19 is all you know. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that on the network.
Number 399 contact, Seattle Center 121.4.
Seattle Center 121.4, 1399.
Southwest 227, turn right heading
All right,
080.
so now we sign in with center. Seattle Center, King Air 1399, 14,000 for 15,000.
Number 1399, Seattle Center, climb maintain level 220.
Climb maintain flight level 220, 1399. So he gave us clearance to go to 22,000 feet, which is flight level 220. So the transition altitude is 180, so at 18,000 feet, we'll change our altimeter to standard pressure, which would be 2992. And that way, everybody that is flying above 18,000 feet are on the same altimeter pressure. So it makes it easy for ATC to know that everybody is at the right altitudes.
670 X-ray Charlie Delta.
And the other reason they have, or the main reason they have altimeter pressures for under 180 is for obstacles. Flying around mountains and stuff will have, pressures will change as you travel, and that will change your elevation, and you have to make sure you have the right altimeter settings. Otherwise you could, if you're in the clouds and you can't see anything, you could crash into a mountain if you don't have your altimeter set properly. So that's why that's so important. Alright, we'll turn the seatbelts off. What's the total flight time from you to China? Well, obviously I wouldn't do that in this plane because you wouldn't have enough fuel to fly to China. I don't know. I have never flown to China, so your guess is as good as mine. The only oceanic flying that I do is in the Concorde because I can fly, like I did yesterday. I streamed that I flew from London to New York City in 4 hours with the Concorde. So I was flying at Mach 2.0, 2 times the speed of sound. All right, here we are at transition. So we're going to push this up to 2992.
132.2, Southwest 1538.
Check our cabin pressure. It's climbing, so we're good there.
1538 on the Summer 3 arrival, passing 31.
Southwest 1538, don't consider Roger. Southwest 227, kind of tower 100.9. Oscar 270, turn right heading 080.
Alright, one thing we need to figure out is the
359 whiskey on request.
I need to know the altimeter for North Bend. So I'm gonna cheat and
Southwest 227, Seattle Tower 165, clear line.
Well, let me see, I'll just use the current and then we'll adjust accordingly, but you need to set the cabin pressure for the proper altitude for the pressure. And Portland's pressure was 73, so 29.7. So when we get north bends, pressure will adjust accordingly, but we'll just assume plus 700 or close to that.
Oscar 270, turn right heading 130.
It's north bends. Let's see here. Elevation 17, so it's just basically 700 plus that. That'll work. So we're at our cruise. Bring back our conditioner levers to low idle. I know the real pilots of the King Air will tell you that on all phases of flight they leave it in low idle. But for my sim purposes, I like having the power on takeoff and land, and then I back it off at cruise. But realistically, they fly all phases at low idle with the exception of, I think, high altitudes. If you're landing at high altitudes, they might add some power, but for me, I always have full conditioner levers at takeoff and land. What is it? OTH. Looks like the FBO is Cost Aviation.
Number 1 Bravo Delta, runway 20, taxi via Mike, cross runway 12. Oscar 270, connect tower 1, enter point enter.
Let's open up our tables for our passengers. Turn the seatbelt lights off.
10.7.
Oscar 270, Seattle tower 16 left, clear land.
And ATIS for North Bend, there is no ATIS. So I'm just going to use my weather injector.
November 653,
They do it, maybe it has AWAS, let me see. Yeah, it does, has AWAS. 135.07. Not picking it up right now, but my weather injector, I'm going to cheat. OTH, so it shows 2971. So yeah, plus 700. So the cabin pressure would be 7. We'll just round it up to 720. So we'll take care of that when we start our descent. And then we'll do this procedure turn and missed approach, climb to 600, then left turn to 2,300, direct to the North Bend NDB and hold. Continue climb and hold to 2,300. Climb to 600, then left turn back to OTH.
Southwest 227, taxi around via Bravo.
DME. So this is where you do the hold. All right. So missed approach. If you go missed, you'll make a basically U-turn, and then just left turn pattern.
Bravo Delta,
so you would cross over this,
150, clear for takeoff.
and I would probably cross over it, come out to the right, make a left turn, and circle here if I go missed. I'm not going to go missed. At least I don't think I will. But it's good to know that. Sometimes you have to dial in like a radial or something, but we don't have to in this case. So we're going to punch in that approach.
Bravo Delta heading 150, runway 20, clear for takeoff.
Approach will be, it's ILS 4. It's actually runway 5.
Taxi via Bravo.
That's the thing with dated Eric. It uses old, because runway numbers do change over time because the magnetic north changes a certain amount of degrees every month, or every day, I guess.
270, taxi around via Bravo.
So I want to do it from Emire. We're just going to load for right now. And we'll do 1500 on the vertical. So we got 7-minute top of descent.
Southwest 1538, contact normal approach 127.4.
27.4, Southwest 1530.
1 Bravo Delta heading 15020, clear for takeoff.
And the altitude at Emire, you'll probably tell me. See if I made a note on this anywhere. Oh, 2,000, maybe.
38 normal approach, expect visual approach 16 right.
Maybe around 2,000. We can kind of figure out our landing stuff. So our actual weight is here, so we'll bank on 12,000 pounds. Altitude is 17. Pressures 2971. You have to hit enter for these to apply. Temperatures 15 Celsius. Wind speed is 8 knots. Wind heading is 280. Runway length 5980. Runway heading 046. Set markers. Field length required for our weight 3,300. We got plenty of runway. So the markers are set right here. VREF plus 10 for land.
Number 1 Bravo Delta, connect normal departure.
So the next thing what I have to do would be change this pressure to 700 cabin altitude when we start our descent. You don't want to do it right now though, because it would actually start descending the cabin, and you don't want a differential in pressure that far.
Okay, 1 Bravo Delta direct Sacramento VOR, maintain 8,000.
I had updated SkyMax Pro, and I didn't like the new cloud shaders they were using, so I rolled it back to 492. Always keep your installers. Whenever you buy something, keep the installer, because and a lot of times it's the only way to roll back. So I updated to 493, and they changed the cloud colors, and I hated it. And there was some weird streaks and stuff in the clouds. So I rolled it back, and that's just the easiest way to do it. North Bend Tower is 1845. Yep. So Cost Aviation is located right here. That's where the FBO is. So we'll probably exit. If I can stop in time, I'll go here. But you never want to turn off a runway onto a runway. That's a no-no. So if you miss Bravo, you just keep going trucking down to Alpha 2 and come back. Then you have to get permission to cross this runway. And then you taxi to the FBO. But if I slam on the brakes, it's probably about 4,000 feet. I might be able to stop by Bravo. We'll find out. And speaking of, so the ILS for this is 108.5. So that's actually already set, 108.5. So let me grab this autopilot and we'll sync up the heading bug, go to heading mode.
Yeah, Center TBM 359 Sure Whiskey.
Change the CDI here to VOR, and then we'll punch in the final approach course heading 046. I think I went the long way, didn't I? 046. All right, so now we're set up for the ILS. We can turn this back to FMS. Go back to nav, and then we're set up for the ILS. Lord Peasant, how are you there, my friend? Nice of you to join us today on the Sunday afternoon. I think it's Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday. Top of descent should be coming up soon. We've got another minute. So if he doesn't descend us, I'll remind him. The wife just got home from doing her Sunday errands or work. I think she went out to work for a little while.
Vertical track.
Yeah. So you can't descend, and if you're IFR, you're not allowed to descend unless ATC instructs you to. So I'll just tell him I'm at my top of descent, and then he'll give me a lower altitude.
Host 1538 to Capital Airport, 11 o'clock, 15 miles.
And then we need to adjust the cabin pressure for the descent. Seattle Center, King Air 1399. I'm at my top of descent.
399, descend to maintain 7,000 northbound altimeter 2971.
Descend, maintain 7,000, 2971, King Air 1399. Alright, so 7,000 it is. We're going to take out the torque. We'll hit descend, and then we'll readjust our cabin pressure for 700 feet. So that's 1,000. So we're using the top one. So right there, and then you'll see now the cabin is descending at 700 feet per minute. So this will slowly come down to the ground. This plane automatically defaults to 1,500 feet per minute when you hit descend through the autopilot. Seatbelts coming back on.
5038, Capital Tower, wind 20012, runway 16 right, clear line.
Gotta close these iPads, otherwise the tables won't close.
Delta
See,
2018, connect, Oakland Center, 127.45.
then it will jump up.
127.45, Delta 2018. Runway 20, Papa, connect, Tower 18.3.
So again, we come through transition altitude of 180. That's when we'll readjust our altimeter. He told me it was 2971. Actually, the wind is coming from the other direction. I wonder if this, can I do a circling? Yeah, I can. I can do a circling approach. What other options do I have here? VOR, Bravo. Let's see what VOR Bravo gives us.
Approach frequency 121.3, squawk 3611. Zero Tango Whiskey, read back correct.
How about from Yapvu? Load. So I'm going to do this one instead because the wind is out of the west. 280 at 8 knots, and I haven't done this other one yet, so let's do VOR Bravo. It's just a VOR approach. So I think the VOR is different, which it is. So that VOR is 112.1. So how convenient is that? Final approach is 257, so I need to change that. Autopilot. Go to heading. VOR. I'll change the course to 257. It's already picking up the VOR.
November 1, Bravo Delta, connect, local approach 135.1.
257. I want to do it from Yapvu. And then so that's set up right. So I'll put it back to FMC, go back to nav. So I'm going to ask to do this approach from Yapvu, which is, you'll see IAF. So that's initial approach fix. So we're going to take this DME arc, 10 DME. We're going to maintain 3,900 until the intermediate fix at Koos, which is funny, that's the name of the
November 1, Bravo Delta, local approach, descend and maintain 5,000, expect ILS 1 meter left from Concord.
Hang on. Almost forgot to do that.
November 399, advise you have the 1 minute weather sea approach request.
Current with North Bend. Request a VOR Bravo approach from Yapvu, King Air 1399.
Oakland Center, Delta 3289, ready for our descent in Fresno.
Delta 3289, connect, Oakland Center 125.75.
5.75, Delta 30.
November 3999, fly heading 230, vector to Yapo for the VOR Bravo.
Fly heading 230, radar vectors for Yapfu, VOR Bravo 1399. 230. Alright, so we're going to switch to heading. I'm going to switch that to VOR mode. So we're ready to go on that. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to leave it on FMC. And I'll just do a direct to Yapfu.
17,000 tilted.
Number 1 Bravo Delta cross Concord at 5,000, cleared the ILS runway 1 left approach.
Alright, cabin pressure should be dropping. Yep. Good there.
November 5112 Golf, clear the Bozeman Airport, Helena for departure. Helena VOR, then as filed, maintain 7,000. Departure frequency.
So with this VOR approach,
7274.
it's 10 DME, so I'm going to let the GPS handle the DME. I'm not going to do it old school. I'm going to let the GPS do it because it does do the arc, so that's kind of cool. So I'm basically just going to use the GPS to fly this approach because it's capable. But if it wasn't, then you could use slant alpha and fly it that way. But so we'll have to maintain the MEA of 3,900 during this DME arc, and then we can descend to Joran at 3,000. Newry, we can go down to 2,300. And then North Bend VOR, we can be at 1,800. And then city is 1060, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go down to circling, which is 700.
November 399, proceed Yapo, cross Yapo at 6,000 or above, cleared VOR Bravo approach.
Clear direct, does that Yapview, cross Yapview at or above 6,000, cleared VOR Bravo approach 1399. Alright, he said 6,000. So we'll cross Yapvu at 6,000. And then we will maintain 4,000 just to make it round it down or whatever you want to call it for the arc. Keep that right there. And the missed approach for this again is, well, not again, climb to 2,300, then climbing right turn to 3,600, direct to the North Bend VOR, DME and hold. Okay. So climb to 2,300, then right turn to 36. So I'll reset the MCP at 36, and you get that information right here. So we're going to be coming across Yapvu here shortly. See, it does the DME arc for me, so it makes it a lot easier. Otherwise, you'd have to spin the, I don't know, it's a process to do a DME arc. I'd just rather the GPS do it. Alright, we're going to hold up at 6,000 like he instructed. After a up VU, we can go down to 4,000 would be a safe altitude.
3289, set to maintain 9,000.
And 9,000.
Yeah, this airport does not have AWAS. Let's try a different AWAS. Let's try 18225. 1822.
Lawrence muting weather.
Here we go.
Wind calm. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 9,500 scatter.
The altimeter is different though. Alright, so we can go down to 4,000. Because we're now on the DME arc.
Center 0 Tango Whiskey, Motor Tower, and 2 left, clear for takeoff.
So you can see here we started the DME and it shows above 30,900, so that's why I'm letting the GPS handle the DME arc for me. It's just way easier. Plus I can't see anything, which is why I'm doing an approach. There we go. Alright, landing lights, taxi lights, Rico lights, ignition, auto feather. And this is why altimeter is so important, because of the ground. If your altimeter pressure is not correct, you could slam into these trees, or the ground, I guess. So we're going to hold up here at 4,000 feet, which is just over the MEA for this DME.
Number 0 Tango Whiskey, got aircraft call departure. Orange Center 0 Tango Whiskey, no call departure, right contact.
Winds 280 at 8 knots. Alright, we're going to slow down the flap 1 speed for about 180.
Number 1 Bravo,
alright, flaps 1. And conditioner lever is full. I need the power. Props full.
Just the tower when I left, clear line, wind 17014.
And then we can go down to 3,000 for Joran after this turn. There's no LPV approach on this, so you got to do everything manually with the altitudes. There's no artificial glide slope or glide path or anything like that. Alright, so now we go down to 3,000.
Approach 100.6.
9.6, total 3289.
Drop the gear.
Delta
do flaps about half.
Expect visual approach runway 29 left, descend and maintain 4,000.
So it'll be 3,000 by Jordan here. The whole reason I wanted to do this approach was to come in over the water, but that's all right. I've never done this VOR approach here, so it's something new. So then after Jordan, we can go down to 2,300 safely.
November 5112 Golf, Hello Tower, 89 clear for takeoff.
So we'll do 2,300. We'll get that ready.
Albuquerque Center, November 234 Charlie Lima, 9,500.
Number 234 Charlie Lima, Albuquerque Center, Prescott altimeter 3009er.
3009 on November 4 Charlie Lima.
Vertical track.
Alright. Descend again. 2,300 for Newry. Yeah, 2,300.
Horizon 2819, clear the Seattle Airport via Portland 1 departure, then S-bound, maintain 6,000. Departure frequency 124.35.
That's why you have to step it down. You don't want to go all the way down to this altitude, otherwise you'll crash. So you just step it down. So it's held at 2,300, so the next one would be 1,800.
Horizon 2819, read back right.
Actually, we'll just take it down to 1,000 after Nori. Actually, I'll just go down to 700.
1,000 feet to minimums.
So we have to see the airport by 700 feet. So once we pass over Newry, then we'll continue on down.
112 Golf, Helena departure report over Helena Vortex. November 399, connect North Bend Tower 18.45.
North Bend Tower 18.45, 1399. Alright, over to Tower. Let's start our descent. North Bend Tower, King Air 1399. VOR for VORB. I'm sorry, for runway 23, 1399.
November 1399 North Bend Tower, circle east of the field for straight in runway 23 and runway 23 clear to land wind 2808.
Circle for a straight in runway 23, runway 23 clear to land 1399er.
1,000 feet to minimums. 1,000 feet to minimums.
All right, let's do autopilot off. Just gonna hand fly it from here. Do flaps full.
November 1 Bravo Delta, cross runway 1 on the right at Foxtrot 1, join Bravo.
Cross 1 enter right at Foxtrot 1, join Bravo, November 1 Bravo Delta.
Crap. I thought it was straight in, it's not.
1,000 feet to minimums.
That's what happens when you don't know the approach. I thought it was 2-3. Alright, I'm not set up good for this, so flaps. So we're gonna do the
Number
mist.
1 Bravo Delta cross, runway 10 left and runway 10
Gear
right
up.
at Kilo.
I didn't realize, I thought it was gonna be straight in, but it wasn't. Alright, so we're just gonna go mist. So that's what the mist approach procedure is for. We're gonna fly straight out. Flaps out. And climb to 23. 2300.
Sacramento to ground, Cessna
Activate mist.
Lima Juliet on the main ramp with India, IFR to Nos Airfield, requesting clearance.
427 Lima Juliet for the Nos Field,
FMC.
maintain 2000, expect 6000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 127.4, squawk 6462.
It's 36.
Cessna 47 Lima Juliet's cleared to Nos Airfield as filed. Climb maintain 2000, expect 6000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 127.4 and squawk 6462, 7 Lima Juliet.
7 Lima Juliet, rebrand track.
North Bend Tower, King Air 1399. I'm going mist. All right.
November 399 visual conditions.
Negative IMC right now, 1399.
November 399 continuing to publish mist to connect Seattle Center 121.4.
Published mist and Seattle Center 121.4, 1399. All right. Let me go back to Seattle Center. Switch to. Let's see.
3289 Fresno Airport, 3 o'clock in 7 miles. Delta 3289, descend and maintain 2000.
All right. I got the. That's why you brief the mist. Now I know. I'm gonna look at this thing again. Hang on. Seattle Center, King Air 1399. I had gone mist. I'm gonna stay in the hold for a minute.
0139 Seattle Center, radar contact.
All right, so I'm gonna stay in this hold and look at this a second time and see where I messed up. Oh my gosh, no wonder. It's straight in, but the runway, that's why. Okay. So what I need to do is, so right now I'm coming into the holding pattern. So I'm going to cross over North Bend, and then we'll just stay in this hold until I figure out what I want to do. Gizmo, what's up, buddy? Sorry if you had said that a few minutes ago. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. All right, so that. It's the first time I've ever done this approach, so I'm going to make a note that it's obviously not. For some reason, I was thinking this would be straight into the runway, and then I was like, I didn't see it, the runway. So as soon as you get to North Bend VOR at 1800, you can go down. It looks like it's 1 mile, but I don't have enough room to. So I'll say 1800. I should be able to see if I can see the runway, or if I can see anything by 1800, then I'll be fine to come out. So I'm going to try this again, and we'll see if he can vector me for Coos, and then we'll come into Coos that way. Yeah. Seattle Center, King Air 1399, approach request.
399.
Same approach, but can you vector me into this approach from Coos for 1399?
River 3, Natter, fly heading 090.
090 1399. 090.
Delta 3289, contact Fresno Tower 18.2.
Delta TBM 359 Sierra Whiskey is with the weather.
Alright, so now I know to kind of dogleg to the right and then left following this river. So after North Bend, we're going to want to make a right. That's why he said circle north for a straight in 2-3. That's why he said that. Okay. So I need to make a note. Circle north for 2-3.
Once you go off, report over SWED.
But yeah, I was definitely not comfortable with trying to get lined up on that last approach. So I'll try it again. Come out here.
Cleared the RNAV runway 29 approach.
So it'll probably tell me to go direct to Coos.
For the RNAV.
Sierra Whiskey at Bovia, cleared RNAV runway 29.
At Bovia, cleared for the RNAV 29 TBM 359 Sierra Whiskey.
River 399, climb maintain 4000.
Climb maintain 4000, 1399. And Vapor Blast, that is why he told you to enter the hold pattern and circle to align. Don't forget to climb if going to Coos. Well, I had to abide by the missed approach procedure. Remain at 3,600 and hold. So until ATC gives me higher, I can't just climb to 4,000. But he climbed to me to 4,000 because he knew Coos is at least 3,900 for this area. So you're absolutely right. But I could have reminded him if he hadn't climbed to me. But until you're released from the hold, then you have to maintain at the hold altitude for the mist. It's not very often that I do mist procedures. Like this is maybe the 10th time I've ever done a mist in a sim. It's just not something I practice, but the conditions, it warranted a mist this time. So you can always be vectored for an intermediate fix. Or a direct 2 for an intermediate fix. They can vector you between that and the final, but most of the time they just like to do a direct 2. So probably
November 399, direct Coos, cross Coos at 4000, cleared VOR Bravo approach.
Clear direct Coos, cross Coos at 4000, cleared VOR Bravo approach 1399. Alright, so we're gonna go to Coos. So 360.
Yeah, 608 Charlie Delta is with you at 9,500.
608 Delta Seattle Center, roger. Delta 3289, text around via Alpha. Correction via. Yeah, text around via Alpha.
Load. Direct to. Coos. All right, so I started to turn with the heading. So now we're heading back to Coos via the GPS. That way it will cycle the mist again. So now I know to make a right and then a left. Vapor says, yeah, it was a reminder to let them know if they forgot to climb you. Yeah, that would have been a bad day. Because honestly, if he wouldn't have said that, you probably would have saved me. Because I would have been like, of course you can always climb without permission if you know there's for safety reasons, so you don't need ATC, so that's also a thing. All right, flaps 1. But yeah, that was a good call. Aviate, navigate, communicate. So if there's something dangerous in front of you, you don't need permission. But if you have time or if you know you're safe, then you always ask before to do it, unless it's a safety thing. All right, Coos, and then 3,000 at Jordan. Save the plane first. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And our virtual passengers will thank us later. Save yourself. These approaches are fun to do. Yeah, man, I just like, I don't do why am I climbing? Let's descend. Let's descend to 4,000. Right.
Vertical track.
Now 3,000. We crossed over Coos. But yeah, I don't do these VOR approaches that often. It's because it's all manual and it's challenging. It's fun. All right, prop full. Be 257 on the heading if I need to go missed. So I got that set. So we're going down to 3,000. Should be able to drop the gear here in a moment. ILS are overrated. Vapor blast. Yeah, they're definitely overrated. It's too easy. It's like having a Cat 3. Alright, we're at 160. Over to North Bend Tower, 1399. Alright, we're at 3,000, and then the next one would be 2,300. So we'll descend again. North Bend Tower, King Air 1399. VOR D for runway 2B for runway 23.
1399 North Bend Tower, circle east of the field, left base, runway 23, clear land.
Circle east of the field, left base, runway 23, clear to land, 1399. East, left base, that makes sense. All right, so we're gonna do that from that VOR up here. So we're gonna go flaps full. Make sure we have power. And we're coming up to Newry, which is 2,300. Oh, I climbed because of the flaps, that's why. And then after Newry, we can go down to 1,800. Am I still descending? Yep. Nori. Going to watch your stream for 15-20 minutes and go do some yard work, but been there sim engines since the start. Oh, nice, man. Thank you. I'm glad I'm making it entertaining. Stressful, but entertaining. Alright, so now we're past Nori. So now we can drop down to 1,800. And then I'm planning to go from the VOR circled left base to that. So we'll follow the water out here. That's the field there. Now I know where the freaking thing is. So we're gonna do autopilot off. And we're gonna circle east for left base. So we're going to follow the water basically.
1,000 feet to minimums.
See the field. We're just going to be landing next to the water. The elevation is 17 feet. Need to lose some altitude, but now I know just to follow the river over here to the right. It's definitely a fun approach. 3 green? Yep. All right. Because that's a thing too. You kind of want your gear down.
Down departure Skyline 5112 Golf Sweat.
Some traffic on that road.
12 Golf contact, Big Sky approach 118.907.
118.907.
I mean, come on, too. I mean, what's more fun, this or doing yard work?
Feet to minimums. 100 feet to minimums. Minimums. feet.
Big Sky approach Skyline 5112 Golf 7000.
5112 Golf, Big Sky approach, radar contact, climb maintain 10,000.
Climb and maintain 10,000, 12 Golf.
Props full.
Walker 169 approved.
knots.
For Fort Charlie, you're about 1-2 miles southeast.
All right. Flaps up. Prop sync off. Auto ignition, auto feather off. Ground icing on. Landing lights. Strobes. Oops, you always stop after the stop bar, not before. All right. North Bend Tower, King Air 1399. Thanks, looking for Coos Aviation.
Retreat 99 taxi around via Alpha and Bravo, remain as frequency.
Park in via Alpha Bravo, remain with you, 1399.
Portland ground horizon 2819 the Sierra, looking for 10 left at Tango.
Horizon 2819, running 10 left at Tango, taxi via Tango.
10 left at Tango via Tango, horizon 2819.
Okay. And looks like I missed that one thing you had said. Did he switch you to tower? Yeah, he switched me to tower. It was tower that told me to circle east of the field for a left base runway 23. That was the tower's instruction. But being that it's the same controller handling both, Seattle Center and the tower, that's why sometimes people, or even I, miss whether or not I've been cleared because it's the same voice. But I did change to the tower frequency, so I knew that I had the tower. And Fiverr looks like he answered that. He had the landing clearance, and Vapor says, LOL, spin on how the wife will take it. Yeah, depends on how the wife will take it. I hear you. Good work. Hey, thanks, man. That was fun to watch. Now I think I'll spend the evening doing some non-precision approaches. Right? Yeah, they're tricky. It's if you want a challenge, that's definitely the way to go. I like it. I'll be doing that approach more often. I usually come in off the ILS with the ILS 5, but the winds were 290 at 8, so 23 made more sense this time. And I have never done I think I've done one VOR approach before, but it was like months ago. And it didn't even occur to me when I was on the VOR approach that it wasn't lined up perfectly. Even though it's written on the chart that it's not lined up perfectly, but you learn as you go. But yeah, glad you guys enjoyed that. That was fun. I did too. Just plenty of fuel. We're good. Fiverr's in love with the TBM. I think it's my new favorite thing to fly. What do you think of the landing characteristics of that Fiver? I know me and Ginnigans always are like, man, it's hard to land. It's fun to fly. The systems are awesome, and it's my new VR aircraft. I fly the TBM strictly in VR now, just because it has a really cool walk-around feature. But landing that thing, it's a challenge. I don't know, it's the weird ground effects or what, but I do love the TBM. I would have to say the TBM is my third favorite or fourth favorite GA. No, third favorite GA. My first one is this one, the King Air. My second one would be the Twin Cessna, and then the TBM would be my third. All right, taxi, Rico light.
Departure is in 2819.
Seatbelts, coffee maker, furnace off. Come over here. Turn the pressurization, air conditioning off.
Portland departure is in 2819, 3000, climbing 6000.
Furnace is off. We'll turn off the pitot stall warning.
Direct Cougar 15000 is 2819.
Prop out a beta. Feather the prop. Turn off the avionics. Turn off the EFIS. Turn off the power inverters. Once you've done all that, prop sync is off. Then you can do fuel cutoff. And then sign offline.
Disconnected.
Do a replay of this too. Let me see. I don't know. Vapor. Let me see what I missed here. Not to brag or anything, but I haven't landed with a rate over 100. Wow. Do you have a curve? Do you use a curve for the TBM? It's been in the 50 to 80 range. That's awesome. And Vapor says, I don't know why I really like the Navajo. Thanks for the show. Need to go. You're a poet and didn't know it. Yeah, bud. Catch you next time. Thanks for checking out the stream. Much I appreciate it as well. And I don't think so. So you were doing all that Fiverr with the standard curve, huh? That's pretty impressive because I can't. I had to add a curve into it. All right, let's do a replay. Make sure I'm offline, which I am. a second. Close the window.
Flaps indicates up. 60 knots. V1. 1,000 feet.
I used the Warthog HOTAS without a curve, if that means anything. So is that a stick or a yoke? I think that's just a stick, right? That would probably be easier to fly the TBM with a stick. But a GA yoke, I find very challenging. It might be just because the Warthog HOTAS is a very high-end joystick, so that probably helps.
500 feet to minimums.
I have the CH Eclipse yoke, just because for my GA stuff, I like having a GA type yoke because the way it handles is totally different. So I have a Thrustmaster T1000 or something like that for my F-18 Hornet. So I do have a stick, but I only use it for my military aircraft.
100 feet. 50 feet. Props full.
Let's check that out, tower view.
Props full.
So that landing rate was negative 55 feet per minute. So that was a good landing.
Knots.
My plan is to maybe getting a yoke for GA and Boeing aircraft and then using the stick for the 320 and military stuff. Yeah, I would do, like I use like the Airbus, my favorite airliner is the A320. So I could use my stick for that, but it's a pain in the butt to swap out the stick. Well, I have it on a I mean, I guess I could, but I'm so used to using the GA stuff for all my civilian. Even the Airbus, I use the yoke. So it's not authentic in that regard, but it's whenever I grab my stick, it's for my military stuff, my P51 and my Hornet, because it's like I can't have my laptop where my laptop usually sits because that's where I have to install the stick when I'm doing my DCS stuff. But yeah, if I had enough real estate, I would certainly have it to where I could use it whenever I wanted. But right now, I had bought this holder for it that just clamps to the desk when I need it. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow at the same bat time, same bat channel. And I'll go ahead and upload this stream to YouTube because this was a pretty good one. So, all right, guys. Y'all take care. Chase out.
departure, boutique 358, 2,200, climbing 3,000, 010 heading.
Boutique 358, Portland departure, good morning, radar contact, climbing 15,000.
I'm saying 15,000, boutique 358.
Turn right heading 040, join J16, resume navigation.
040, join J16, resume mode, boutique 358.
Number 16 is here, descend to maintain 4,000.
4,000, 16 is here.
Number 16 is here, you'll be probably in the clear VNC conditions in about another 10 miles. Let me know when you're in VNC.
We'll do it, thanks, 16 is here.